What if the person picking up your children looked so different that you didn't recognize them? What if that moment of doubt was the last chance to save 3 innocent lives? May 30th, 2025. A routine custody pickup in Wenatchee, Washington. By June 2nd, 3 little girls would be found dead. A neighbor watering his lawn. A father asking the same question 3 times. A man so changed that his own neighbor had to ask, "Is that you, Travis?" Someone who once promised to protect them. Someone they called Daddy. This wasn't a breakdown. This was a man who had been planning. And the signs were there for anyone willing to see them. Paityn, 9. Evelyn, 8. Olivia, 5. 3 sisters who loved camping trips in the Cascade Mountain. 3 daughters who ran to their father's pickup truck with excitement every other weekend. 3 little girls who had no idea they were walking into their final day. In Wenatchee, Washington, the Decker family seemed like any other military family trying to make it work. Travis Decker, 32, was a U.S. Army veteran who had served in Afghanistan with the Rangers. Whitney, 35, was trying to rebuild her life after their marriage crumbled in 2022. But neighbor Ben Nguyen saw something different. For years, he'd watched Travis take the girls camping, watched him move out but still show up religiously for his visits. They loved him a lot, and he loved them too, Nguyen would later tell investigators. The court-approved parenting plan was simple: 3 hours every other weekend, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. No overnight stays. Travis had been living in his RV, spending nights at shelters, but he never missed a pickup. Until May 30th, when everything changed. Have you ever seen someone you know look so different that you questioned your own eyes? Have you ever ignored a gut feeling because you trusted someone's past behavior? Travis Decker wasn't always a danger to his daughters. He was a combat veteran trained in survival skills, a man who had served his country in Afghanistan. But almost from the beginning of his marriage to Whitney, mental health became a battlefield he couldn't win. PTSD, severe paranoia, nightmares, insomnia. Whitney's attorney, Ariana Cozart, would later reveal the truth. His issues seemed to spiral once he was out of what Whitney calls the bumpers of the military that kept him in line. Travis tried to get help. He went to the VA. He called the Veterans Crisis Line. But nothing seemed to change. By 2025, 2 years after their legal separation, Whitney had gone to court to rewrite their custody agreement. Travis could no longer have overnight stays with the girls. The court had seen enough red flags to strip away his parental rights piece by piece. He was living in his RV, having trouble at work, even considering rehoming his beloved husky. But Whitney never suspected him of causing harm to their daughters. This man never laid a hand on those girls, Cozart would insist. What would it take for a trained soldier to become the very thing he once swore to protect against? May 30th, 2025, 5 p.m. Wenatchee, Washington. Ben Nguyen was watering his lawn when he saw a man approaching the Decker house. For a moment, he didn't recognize him. He was skinny. He had long hair and a beard. I said, "Is that you, Travis?" This wasn't the clean-cut veteran Nguyen had known for years. This was a man transformed by whatever demons he'd been wrestling with in the shadows. They chatted for 10 minutes. But something was wrong. Travis, while polite, seemed distracted. He asked Nguyen how he'd been, 3 times. It was kind of weird, Nguyen recalls. He had a sad face. Federal authorities would later discover that Travis had been searching online for how to relocate to Canada in the days before this final pickup. This wasn't spontaneous. This was a man preparing for what he knew would be his final act as a father. At 5 p.m., Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia climbed into their father's pickup truck for what they thought would be another 3-hour visit. They had no idea they were climbing into a mobile tomb. 8 p.m. drop-off time. Whitney waited, and waited, and waited. Travis had never missed a drop-off. He had always been reachable. But now, his phone went straight to voicemail. By 9:34 p.m., Whitney's concern had turned to terror. She drove to the Wenatchee Police Department and filed a missing persons report for all 3 of her daughters. A frantic search began. Local police, federal authorities, a community that refused to give up hope. For 3 days, the question haunted everyone: where were Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia? June 2nd, 2025. Rock Island Campground. Remote. Isolated. The kind of place where a man with survival training could disappear forever. Investigators found Travis's abandoned pickup truck. But what they found nearby would haunt them forever. 3 small bodies, plastic bags over their heads. At least one with zip ties around her wrists. The medical examiner's report was clinical but devastating: death by asphyxiation. The girls who loved camping trips in the mountains had taken their final trip to a place where their father had planned their execution. This wasn't a crime of passion. This was premeditation. The physical evidence told a story of calculated murder. Plastic bags, purchased in advance. Zip ties, tools of restraint, not panic. Remote location, chosen for its isolation. Abandoned truck, positioned for maximum head start. The digital evidence revealed a man preparing for his final act. Internet searches for how to relocate to Canada. No communication after the pickup. Phone turned off to avoid tracking. The psychological evidence painted a picture of a man who had decided that if he couldn't have his daughters, no one could. Travis Decker, a combat veteran trained in survival skills, had vanished into the wilderness. But this time, he wasn't running from an enemy. He was running from justice. The manhunt that followed would consume resources across multiple states. Federal authorities, local police, search and rescue teams, all looking for a man who had traded his role as protector for the ultimate betrayal. Travis Decker remains a fugitive. Wanted on suspicion of first-degree murder and kidnapping, he has become the subject of a massive ongoing manhunt. His military training, his survival skills, his knowledge of the wilderness, all the things that once made him a hero now make him a dangerous fugitive. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office has released digitally altered wanted posters showing how he might look now. The FBI has joined the search. The public has been warned not to approach him. But for Whitney, the manhunt isn't about justice, it's about answers. Why did the authorities never issue an Amber Alert for her missing daughters? Why wasn't there more mental health support for veterans like Travis? She has vowed to advocate for changes to the alert system and better mental health services for veterans. But first, she had to say goodbye to her babies. At a memorial service on June 20th, mourners wore purple, pink, and green, the girls' favorite colors. Whitney told the crowd that Evelyn would have "gooed" and "awed" over their colorful outfits, and Paityn would have found something to compliment about each attendee. "I'm so thankful for the time that I had with the girls," she said. "They were incredible. In a world where we trust people based on who they used to be, how do we protect against who they might become?" Bin Gwyn saw the warning signs. A man so changed that his own neighbor didn't recognize him. A father asking the same question 3 times. A weird encounter that screamed danger. But what could he have done? What could any of us have done? The answer isn't simple. Mental health isn't just about the person suffering, it's about everyone around them. Veterans need support. Families need protection. Children need advocates. Watch for the signs. Trust your instincts. Speak up when something feels wrong. Because somewhere out there, Travis Decker is still running. Still hiding. Still evading justice for the 3 little girls who trusted him with their lives. In true crime, the most dangerous person might not be a stranger. It might be someone you once trusted. Someone who once promised to protect you. If you or someone you know needs mental health help, text STRENGTH to the crisis text line at 741 to 741. Stay aware. Stay vigilant. And never ignore that voice in your head that says something isn't right. Next week, another case, another warning sign we should have seen coming. Subscribe for more true crime investigations. Share this story. Help us find Travis Decker and bring justice to Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia.